Yeah, so if you're like me, you've tried like pretty much every form of note taking out there, like purely digital or like analog or like somewhere in between, like a hybrid of like digital and analog. And yeah, for some reason or another, like nothing has ever really worked for me until now, and that's crazy because I've tried like several iPads, several Windows tablets, smart notebooks, and yeah, I haven't really found something that combines like the modern conveniences of like technology with like that nice analog feel until I found these are e-ink like tablets that run Android. For me specifically, I need Android, but I'll kind of explain why they work for me and maybe they will work for you too as well. Anyways, let's get into the video. Alright, so the main draw of these devices is definitely the e-ink screen, and they're designed to mimic paper, and this has pros and cons. Pros, there's no glare. They're good to write on, and they can replace like textbooks and like notebooks and stuff like that, sheet music really well. Um, and yeah, it's kind of really great for productivity in general. And cons, it's physically moving particles, which means it can only refresh so quickly. And there's also ghosting in most devices. And yeah, so it's not going to be anywhere nearly as responsive as like an iPad, but for me, and doing like writing, and like basic like apps that you'd use on a tablet, like Anki and stuff like that, you don't need the fastest thing in the world. You want something comfortable with a long battery life, and yeah, this is really great for that. So we should talk about the hardware of the devices. I tend to use 10.3-inch devices most often. I have a 7.8-inch device, but I just prefer a larger screen to write and read on. This is a Boox Note X, which is unfortunately hard to get at this point. It was a China-only model from 3 years ago, so if you can get it, I really like it. It has a 212 ppi black and white screen, whereas the Boox Note X Tab, the Boox Tab Ultra C Pro has a 300 ppi black and white screen with a 100 ppi color screen. So yeah, this one has a color layer with like a GPU that reduces ghosting, which is like a problem on these tablets. This one's a lot nicer to read on, but it also has a worse battery life by a significant margin. This one lasts about like a week and a half, and this one lasts like a few days, which is better than an iPad, but still, yeah, so they have a EMR screen, or an EMR layer underneath the screen, which allows you to use any Wacom EMR pen on them. This one is from a Kindle Scribe, and this one is from a Tab S6 Lite. They're my favorite pens. I don't really like the supplied Boox pens necessarily. They feel kind of cheap to me, and I like a side eraser a lot. I would highly recommend getting one with an SD card if you read manga or just have a lot of files. That's why I got this one over like a domestic model Note X or Note Air. Unfortunately, these these tab models have this little camera bump that protrudes a lot, and because of that, they wobble when you write, which is really unfortunate. So I have to use a notebook underneath it to minimize that. I'll probably end up getting the protective cover at some point. Yeah, it's frustrating. The Chinese models don't have that camera bump, so I guess I thought international people would prefer the camera bump, but no, I'm not really that big on it. But they're really stout devices. Unfortunately, they do have QC problems. This one creaks a little bit, and this one has like a dead pixel. A lot of my Boox devices have QC problems. More often than other companies, and they tend to be a bit more fragile as well. Before on my first Boox tablet, before I destroyed it in the washing machine, I cracked it in my backpack by not having enough protection. So if you do get one, I would definitely get like a nice case for your backpack if you decide to travel with it. So yeah, that was really rambly, sorry. I really like how these devices are built, and this one's been fine for like, I've traveled to school with it and back for a long time, and it's been fine after I got a case. So yeah, just be careful with your stuff, and just know they're kind of delicate. So right, so the main reason I choose to use a Boox device over a Supernote tablet or like a Remarkable or a Kindle Scribe is because of the operating system, which is Android. Android has pros and cons, of course. Pros, like, it's a lot more customizable, and you can install apps and like do all that stuff on it. And yeah, it's like kind of a lot more confusing if you don't know what you're doing, and it's not as like optimized for an e-ink screen. But I'm a really big Android guy. Like I was on CyanogenMod 7 like 10 years ago, like so, and I actually have a video about how I use these tablets with Android like apps on my channel. So if you're interested in that, it's my productivity workflow 2022, I think, at this point. If I wasn't into the whole Android thing, I would definitely consider picking up a SuperNote tablet. The company is a lot more clear with what they're doing, and they have much better customer service than books, and they have like best in class writing feel, and they're more durable, and the community is a lot stronger, and I think they have better note taking. I actually haven't owned a SuperNote, but just from what I've heard, yeah, so if you're not a really big Android person and you want an e-ink tablet, I would check out a SuperNote. But yeah, I'll kind of explain how I use my Android tablet in this video. So these have been like a paradigm shift in a lot of the aspects of my life, and for one, they've replaced like paper, or a lot of the paper products that I used to use. So like a big stack of textbooks is now just all on this device, which is cool. Like other paper stuff like manga, I usually read on an e-reader, but I can put them on this if I wanted to. Like journals and stuff, I kind of prefer to have on a device like this. But yeah, what else? Like service manuals for the cars. I just got back from England, like shooting a movie, and I put the entire script on one of these devices and wrote on that, and it was really convenient and it worked really well. So if you need help choosing a tablet, I definitely check out this video by Brandon Boswell. It's pretty good. It's kind of outdated, but the info is not super outdated. Personally, I wouldn't really consider getting a Remarkable or a Kindle Scribe. Remarkable seems to be the most popular one on YouTube, but they're not really functional, and the company kind of lost my trust after the whole subscription model thing. And then Kindle Scribes aren't just really good, like software wise. So yeah, I'll definitely pass on those two. That would only leave Books and SuperNote. Books is not a perfect company. They release a lot of devices really quickly, and their lineup is massive, which is not a good thing because it's really confusing. But yeah, and they're also GPL violators if that's important to you, and they have QC problems, and they're a Chinese company, and if privacy is a problem for you, then yeah, that's probably not a great thing. SuperNote, the other company, is also Chinese, but they're a lot more transparent about what they do, and they're a lot better overall as a company, I would say. But the tablet's just not for me, unfortunately. So they're actually releasing a new one in November or December, the A6X2, I believe. So that's something to keep your eyes out for if you're interested. I'd also definitely check out My Deep Guide. I'm a big fan of I'm a big fan of him. I forgot his name. Voya. And yeah, he's really nice, and his videos are really long, but they're really in-depth, and if you want to make a really informed decision, check out his videos. And yeah, that's it for my video. Thanks for watching.